Oh, I love it. We're here, guys. Another day, another dollar. We're reading the Trivium, part 4, baby. Why do I do this, even though no one's watching, or so it seems that way sometimes? I'm not really doing it for you guys, I'm doing it for me. That's how all things should be done. Not for the validation, not for the views, but because you want the best for yourself. Period, point blank, end of story. That's why I do this. I do this so hopefully that I can become more knowledgeable. I'm here to seek not just the truth, but freedom and ultimate wisdom of knowledge of the self. And I want to become a better public speaker. I want to learn more about myself and the world. And so I got this challenging read here. If you do want to listen along, forgive the stuttering, forgive the mispronunciations. I called the other day Icacle. It was really icicle. I'm going to start calling them Icicles from now on. But bear with the dyslexia, bear with the mind-numbing, trying to re-pronunciate word after word and annotating non-stop. That's what we're doing here. We got the Trivium. Part 4, baby. We're jumping right into it. We're on page 80. We're still in the chapter of grammar. And we're at the verb phrase, which is action! Exclamation mark. Words which describe the action in a sentence are called verbs. From the Latin verbum, quote unquote, meaning word. The verbal phrase of a sentence is a syntactic unit. A syntactic unit. Syntax. Or the word's meaning I constantly forget. A syntactic unit, which involves at least one verb and its dependents, e.g., planted the tree or read him his last rites. While nouns name substances, verbs do more than just name actions. They can convey a wealth of information in 5 key ways. 1. Person. In the act of speaking, I may refer to actions involving myself, whomever I am speaking to, or others. In English, the categories of first, second, and third person, singular, I, thee, he, she, it, and plural, we, ye, they, ye spelled Y-E, denote person. However, in heavily inflected languages such as Polish, verbs have different endings. For I, you, he, she, it, we, both, we, all, you, both, you all, they both, they all, etc. Number 2. Tense. While substance is eternal, action is change and happens in time. Any action can therefore either have already happened, be happening, or happen in the future, past, present, and future. Happen in the future, past, present, and future. Interesting. I'm going to reread that sentence because I was just butchering all of that mumbo jumbo. Any action can therefore either have already happened, be happening, or happen in the future, past, present, and future. The tense of a verb describes the position of the action in time relative to the speaker. See pages 82 to 3. I wonder why it goes backwards like that and not 3 to 82. Interesting. Different languages employ different tenses. In the Navajo language, there are 7. The imperfective, I was walking. The perfective, I walked. The progressive, I am walking. The future, I shall walk. The usative, U-S-I-T-A-T-I-V-E, I usually walk. Wow, the usative, like usually. I usually walk. The iterative, I always walk. And the optative, I hope I walk. Optative, like, what's an opportunity, maybe? No. Anyway. Voice, number 3. Voice. For every action there is a reason, sometimes conscious, sometimes not. If I hold a sword, I have probably made a conscious decision to do so. But if the wind blows, there may or may not be a being originating the action. If the agent is uncertain, we can say it is raining. However, the agent of an action is not necessarily its prime cause. If I smell a flower, I might just have walked past it. Sentences express our experience of cause and effect, and verbs assist this through active and passive voices. Compare the lion caught the mouse, active, versus the mouse was caught by the lion, passive. Number 4. And these aren't numbered, I'm just numbering them because they said that there was 5 keys, and these are bold pointed. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is number 4, I should say. Number 4, aspect. The ancient Greeks used 2 words for time. Chronos, for a stretch of time, and kairos, K-A-I-R-O-S, kairos, for a moment. A verb's aspect colors, color with a U-R-S, I like that, colors the action, describing whether it is perfected, the farmer has plowed the field, or ongoing, the farmer was plowing the field. In some languages like Chinese, neither tense nor aspect is differentiated. While in Navajo, use 12 possible aspects with 10 sub-aspects. In other languages, aspects can describe actions as repetitive, successful, detective, resumptive, or accidental. See appendix page 396. In Slavic languages, aspects is conveyed via prefixes, and suffixes. I can't say that word right now for whatever reason. Suffixes. Prefix, suffix. I think that's it. Suffixes to the verb and counts more heavily than either tense or mood. In English, verb aspect simply describes whether an action is simple, ongoing, completed, or will be completed. Mood. Actions can really be taking place. This is number 5. Mood. Actions can really be taking place or be only proposed, stated, or hypothetical in other ways. These are the moods of a verb. Compare I insist I am involved versus I insist I be involved. Interesting. In many languages, verbs change their form quite radically, with the sentences, subject, and time reference, and in verbs such inflections are called conjugations. Am, are, is, and was are all conjugated forms. And, are, is, and was. What about be? Oh, are all conjugated forms of to be. Am, are, is, and was. Older verbs tend to retain their strong or irregular conjugation, but most English verbs show very little inflection, e.g., I laugh, he laughs. English verb tenses. About time too. The tense of a verb refers to the location of an action or event in time. The present tense is used to indicate something that is happening. Let me just triple check that my YouTube isn't playing music, and it's not, so we're continuing. The present tense is used to indicate something that is happening or existing now, is a recurring event, or is true at all times. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east and Juliet is the sun. William Shakespeare. Every time a child says, I don't believe in fairies, there is a little fairy somewhere that falls down dead. James M. Barrie. He who opens a school door closes a prison. Victor Hugo. Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form. Jalaluddin Rumi. Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form. That's a beautiful quote there. I love that quote. The past tense indicates that something happened or existed in the past. The world's bright candle, early spring, came new, and brought the bounteous, and brought the bounteous gift of life restored, and spread afar its veil of pearly blue, and urged the nightingale to trill its song. Spread far the limped wine of morning dew, and filled the opened tulip's crimson cup, and flamed the rose that in the garden blew, a gleam with turquoise and the ruby's glow. Muhammad Fazuli. The future tense does not have inflected forms in English. Unlike in most other languages, future time can be expressed in a variety of ways. The suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. Oscar Wilde. W-I-L-D-E. By putting forward the hands of the clock, you shall not advance the hour. Victor Hugo. You have to have an idea of what you are going to do, but it should be a vague idea. Pablo Picasso. Tomorrow every fault is to be amended, but that tomorrow never comes. Benjamin Franklin. That's a depressing quote. The possible tense of an English verb combined with its possible aspects create a grid of distinct possibilities. Past tense, present tense, and future tense. The aspect is perfect prog dot. Does that mean progressive? And then there's perfect without the prog dot. And then there's progressive, and then there's simple. And it has a little chart here. Underneath past tense, there's past simple, spoke. Past progressive, was speaking. Past perfect simple, had spoken. Past perfect progressive, had been speaking. Tense in the present, present simple, speaks. Present progressive is speaking. Present perfect simple, has spoken. Present perfect progressive, has been speaking. And then future simple, will speak. Future progressive, will be speaking. Future perfect simple, will have spoken. Future perfect progressive, will have been speaking. What's the difference? These possible tense of the English verb combined with its possible aspects create a grid of distinct possibilities. English verb forms. The 5 forms. All verbs inflect or change their form to express changes in tense, persons, number, and voice. The majority of verbs in the English language are regular verbs and follow a set pattern of 5 forms: base infinitive, present tense, simple past, present participle, past participle. Base infinitive: to walk, to dream, to dance. Present tense: s, walks, dreams, dances. Past simple: ed, walked, dreamed, danced. Present participle: walk, ing, walking, dreaming, dancing. Past participle: have, ed, have, has, had walked, have, has, had dreamed, have, has, had danced. Irregular verbs also have 5 forms but follow different patterns. Under base infinitive: to be, to have, to do, to go, to eat, to speak. Present tense: am, is, are, have, has, do, does, go, goes, eat, eats, speaks, speaks. Simple past: was, were, had, did, went, ate, spoke. Present participle: being, having, doing, going, eating, speaking. Past participle: been, had, did, gone, eaten, spoken. And these are reading down the line here. Finite to fail, but infinite to venture. Emily Dickinson. That's a beautiful quote. There are 2 key classes of verb: main verbs, also known as lexical verbs, and auxiliary verbs. Main verbs express the meaning of a clause. They show action, possession, or states of being. I think, therefore I am. René Descartes. Auxiliary verbs add information to the main verb in order to refer to actual events or situations in the past or the present. The primary auxiliaries are be, have, and do, and their corresponding conjugated forms. Happy he who, like Ulysses, has completed a great journey. Du belay les regrets. Regrets. R-E-G-R-E-T-S. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. William Blake. That's an interesting one. In the world through which I travel, I am endlessly creating myself. Frantz Fanon. The primary auxiliaries also can stand alone as the main verb of a clause. I have no name. I am but 2 days old. What shall I call thee? I happy am. Joy is my name. Sweet joy befall thee. William Blake. Nature does nothing uselessly. Aristotle. Modal auxiliary verbs help the main verb to express a range of meanings, including possibilities, probability, desirability, permission, request, suggestion, instructions, wants, wishes, obligations, and necessity. A range of meanings. Modal auxiliary verbs. Will, would, shall, should, may, might, can, could, must, ought. That was one of my college professor's favorite. Men would live exceedingly quiet if these two words, mine and thine, were taken away. That's a good quote by Anaxagoras. Anaxagoras. What's up, Mike? Goodbye, Mike. He's gone now. We should come home from adventures and perils and discoveries every day with new experience and character. Henry David Thoreau. Like weather, men's fortune may change by the evening. Lu Mengsheng. M-E-N-G-S-H-E-N-G. Sorry for butchering your name. To be or not. Page 86. There's a chart here with singular and plural, present, past, infinitive, and participle. And I'm not even going to read that. I'm just going to show you guys what that chart looks like for once. There's so many charts like these where it's just like top to bottom with a bunch of words here. Top to bottom. And I try my best to read them, but it just sounds like wingdings. Like there's singular, plural, and then I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, and under that there's infinitive to be. And then there's present, am, are, is, are, don't know why there's are 3 times there. And then there's, to the far right, past, was, were, participle being, infinitive to be. The verb to be describes a state rather than an action, and takes very irregular forms in accordance with the subject of the sentence. To be can be used as a main verb. There is something in the cupboard, but it also functions as a copula, C-O-P-U-L-A, in that it connects terms expressing identity, location, class, membership, and predication. A predication, that's a good word. Among other things, 1 and 1 is 2. Stars are celestial objects. The house is big enough. This is true. When used with another verb in the infinitive, to be can also express obligation or fate. He is to be executed. However, the most frequent use of to be in English, as well as in many other Western European languages, is an auxiliary verb in various cases, including continuous forms and the passive voice such as I am going, We were running. The city was destroyed. People have been contemplating the essence of to be for thousands of years, and the connection it suggests between action and existence. As we all know, existence is a complicated affair. You could say that again. To have and do go on. And then there's another random chart with singular, plural, infinitive, to have, participle, having. There's I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. In the present, there's have, has, have. In the past, there is had. I don't even know why I wanted to read all that, but we'll continue. The irregular verb to have also regularly serves as an auxiliary. If she had noticed the mistake, she would have corrected it. As a main verb, it has various meanings. In I have a cold, it describes a state of being. In I have to go, it denotes obligation. In I have a car, it expresses possession or belonging. Much like the possessive genitive form, there's that word again, form, see pages 65 and 71, of a noun or pronoun. My father's car, his car, there's, I forget the word, the dot, and then the comma underneath the dot. What is that again? Damn it, I forget. Nonetheless, we continue. That is after father's car, and then dot over comma, his car, period. It can also express obligation via the infinitive, dot over dot. I also figure what that is, semicolon, maybe? You have to bow, or the participle, I am having this fix. You have to bow? You have to bow. B-O-W. Is bow and bow spelled the same? I'm not sure. There's a few words in English like that. It can also express obligation via the infinitive. You have, or I already read that, you have to bow, or the participle, I am having this fix. Most notably, English uses to have to form the perfect aspect of a verb. I have pondered. Other irregular verbs also have special rules. To do can stand in for an action previously referred to, much like a pronoun stands for a noun we already know about. I love swimming, so do I. Sometimes it can appear as a main and auxiliary verb. How do you do? To go also specific form for the future tense, it instead uses to go, and modal verbs such as will and shall suggest the future. I am going to swim. They are going to miss the boat. Page 88. Verb voice, active and passive. The active voice and passive voice express whether the action is being done or received by the subject. The two voices may occur in any tense. Active voice is used in a clause whose subject is performing the action. How could youth better learn to live than be at once trying the experiment of living? Henry David Thoreau. The things which I have seen, I now can see no more. William Wordsworth. It was high counsel that I once heard, given to a young person. Always do what you are afraid to do. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Talk about a quote. Passive voice is used in clause whose subject is the recipient of the action. A man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. Mark Twain. A man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. I am one whose art was seen by the blind, and whose words were heard by the deaf. Al Mutanabi. Al Mutanabi. Mutanabi. Bunch of good quotes there. Page 89. Verb, mood, a manner of speaking. The mood of a verb expresses the conditions under which an action or condition is taking place. It refers to the attitude of manner of the person who is speaking or writing. In English, there are three moods. The indicative mood is used to express fact or opinion. Love is a serious mental disease. Plato. Behind every successful man stands a surprised mother-in-law. Voltaire. The imperative mood is used to give orders, commands, and directives, or to make requests. Live your life, do your work, then take your hat. Henry David Thoreau. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. William Shakespeare. Don't count your chickens before they are hatched. Aesop. Aesop. The subjective mood expresses wishes, commands, desires, possibilities, necessity, and hypothetical supposition. Excuse me. I would my horse had the speed of your tongue. William Shakespeare. Suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. Mark Twain. I like that one. We would often be sorry if our wishes were granted. Aesop. Gonna have to find that person and check him out. He has some cool quotes. The formula subjective uses set formulas. The formula subjunctive uses set formulas. Be that as it may, far be it from me. Perish the thought. Suffice it to say. If it please the court. Truth be told, long live the Queen. God bless you. Page 90, we're cruising through this. Verb aspect, simple, progressive, and perfect. The aspect of a verb expresses the status of an action or state, essentially, whether it is indefinite, meaning unknown, has been completed, or is still in progress. The indefinite simple aspect merely indicates an action. What you seek is seeking you. Jalaluddin Rumi. What you seek is seeking you. I like that. The progressive aspect indicates continuing action, past, present, or future. While I thought that I was learning how to live, I have been learning how to die. Leonardo da Vinci. That was a deep one. We have watered the trees that blossom in the summertime. Now let's sprinkle those whose flowering time is past. That will be the better deed, because we shall not be working for the reward. Kalidasa. The perfect aspect indicates that an action has been completed or will be completed at some point in the future. I know many books which have bored their readers, but I know of none which has done real evil. Voltaire. That's an interesting quote. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with a lot of these quotes, but I believe that they're not trying to get us to agree with these quotes. They're just using these quotes as examples underneath what they're describing, which is they're describing right now the perfect aspect indicates the action has been completed or will be completed at the point in the future. And that was one of the quotes. Nonetheless, here's another quote. All the fruit will be of the Christmas tree, then the crackers will have cracked off, the almonds will have been crunched, and the sweet bitter riddles will have been read. The lights will have perished off the dark green boughs, boughs. The toys growing on them will have been distributed, fought for, cherished, neglected, broken. William Makepeace Thackeray. And that's spelled Thackeray. The perfect and progressive aspects can be combined. Hetty had been deceiving herself in thinking that she could love and marry him. She had been loving Arthur all the while, and now in her desperation at the nearness of their marriage, she had run away. George Eliot. Complex aspects and auxiliary verb phrases. The tenses and aspects of the English language combine using auxiliaries to create a matrix of verb forms. Up to 5 positions may be identified in a verb phrase. The modal verb comes first. Might, could, should, would, all in parentheses. The main verb last, and between them up to 3 auxiliary verbs may specify aspect and tense. The table below shows some examples of complex English verb phrases, including modal verbs. It, she, they, he, it, we, type, main verb, meaning. Okay, under 1, there's might, will, may, modal V, base form, modalized. Modal V is the type. Okay, I think these are 2 charts in one. Let me read the top part of it. Number 1, might, will, may. Might is across from it, will is across from it, may is across from we. Alright, these are sentences now. I'm confused. So, this chart is confusing. I'm just going to read the sentences first. It might explode. She has vanished. They were singing. He had been skating. It will have been dropped. We may have been being followed. And then the type, modal 5, perfect aux dot, progr dot aux dot, passive aux dot, main verb. And then the main verb, there's base form, dash ed, ed, participle, particle, and then there's dash ing, part dot, dash ed, part dot, and when I mean dot, I mean period. And then meaning, modalized, perfect aspect, prog dot, progressive, I think it's short for progr dot, asp dot, is passive. These charts are probably going to be the death of me. I'm probably going to start to glaze over them, especially the more confusing ones. But we're going to continue. I'll just show you guys that chart that I was reading just now. It was a very confusing chart there. Alright, show my Instagram page first. And then my YouTube there. Very confusing chart. I don't know if you can even see that clearly or not, but that's what I was trying to read at least. In a similar fashion, for its future tense, English uses either the present tense with a future. I've been slacking. We are leaving tomorrow, or I will shall leave tomorrow. The same technique also provides constructions for future tense, such as the future perfect, I will have left by tomorrow, and the future progressive, he will be waiting. See page 83. Page 92. Negatives. Don't, won't, can't. In English, auxiliary and modal verbs are required to form negative sentences. So we say, I do not believe that, rather than I not believe that, or I believe not that. Main verbs are never negated in main prose, P-R-O-S-E, prose English. In main prose English, instead the word not appears after auxiliaries or modals. So I go negates as I am not going, and I like negates to I do not like, and I will help negates to I will not help. There are, however, 2 cases in which negation does not adhere to this rule. One is with the main verb hope, and it's corollaries. Corollalries. Pray and think. Thus I hope he wins, negates as I hope not. The other is the modal must. You must go is negated as you don't have to go, instead of you must not go. The negations of auxiliary and modal words often have contracted forms, and although these are common in spoken English, they are frowned upon in writing. Can plus not equals cannot or can't. Do plus not equals don't. Will plus not equals won't. Have plus not equals haven't. Verb transitivity. 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 To take or not to take. Transitive verbs require an objective. Yeah, there was this one word, I think it was co-fed. C-O-F-O-E-D. Co-foed. And I was trying to annotate it and I couldn't even find a definition of it. I was like, what the heck is this word? Anyway, this book uses some pretty crazy words. Learning a lot of cool stuff here. To take or not to take. Transitive verbs require an object to complete their meaning. You can cut all the flowers, but you cannot keep spring from coming. Pablo Neruda. I love that quote. Neruda. By putting forward the hands of the clock, you shall not advance the hour. That is the second time, unless I'm having extreme deja vu, that is the second time they use that quote. I don't like that. Now they're using quotes twice. Intransitive verbs, intransitive, intransitive verbs, do not require an object, but may be accompanied by an adverbial word or phrase, adverbial, adverbial. Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fail. No, I got it right, fall. William Shakespeare. That was a good William Shakespeare quote. I usually hate his quotes. It's just too confusing. I'm not smart enough to digest them. A man knows when he is growing old because he begins to look like his father. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. God damn, I hate that quote. Some verbs can be used transitively, or intransitively. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. Galileo Galilei. 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 I'm done trying to pronounce that one. That was a tough one. The wise man does not grow old, but ripens. Victor Hugo. That's a hopeful quote. The transitive verbs take a direct object and an indirect object at the same time. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. William Shakespeare. By plucking her petals, you do not gather the beauty of the flower. Rabindranath Tagore. Ugh. I'm talking wingdings over here, it feels like. Finite and copular verbs, alone or like linking. A finite verb has a subject and shows tense and number. It can stand by itself as the main verb of a sentence. Hope is the thing with feathers. Let me just turn down my brightness here. I got like 13% battery left on my phone where I'm live streaming off of, so let's hope that it can last the next 20 minutes. A infinitive verb has a subject and shows tense and number. It can stand by itself as the main verb of a sentence. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Emily Dickinson has some beautiful quotes. God rest her soul. If a thing loves, it is infinite. William Blake. Beautiful quote there, William Blake. I love you. Hopefully, I will be infinite as well. A non-finite verb. Verbal cannot stand alone as a main verb of a sentence. The non-finite verb forms are the infinitive and the present and the past participles. Clouds come floating into my life no longer to carry rain or usher storm, but to add color to my sunset sky. What a fire fucking quote. Pardon my language. That is amazing. That uplifted my soul so much there. Dancing begets warmth, which is the present of wantoness. Henry Fielding. Of all the noises known to man, opera is the most expensive. Molière. Giving me quotes for days here. Everything considered, work is less boring than amusing oneself. Baudelaire. Copular verbs are linking verbs such as be, seem, appear, feel, remain, become, smell, and look, which join a subject to its complement. When a thought takes one's breath away, a grammar lesson seems an impertinence. When a thought takes one's breath away, a grammar lesson seems an impertinence. Thomas W. Higginson. My pen is my harp, and my lyre, L-Y-R-E, my lyre. My library is my garden and my orchard. Judah Ha-Levi. My pen is my harp and my lyre. My library is my garden and my orchard. Interesting. Page 95. Is it a verb? Confusion in class. Words can belong to more than one class depending on the role they play. In a sentence, for example, some words can be either a noun or a verb. How can we know the dancer from the dance? William Butler Yeats. Let us read and let us dance. Two amusements that will never do any harm to the word. Voltaire. A noun or an adjective. Happiness resides not in the possessions and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. Democritus. Democritus. Rich and rare were the gems she wore, and a bright gold ring on her hand she bore. Thomas More. An adverb, reposition, or conjunction. A great part of courage is the courage of having done the thing before. Ralph Waldo Emerson. That's an interesting one. A dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. Oscar Wilde. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep. Robert Frost. Or even an adverb's adjective, noun, and verb. Try again, fail better. Samuel Beckett. He does it with better grace, but I do it more natural. William Shakespeare. When we are betters, betters, when we are betters, see bearing our woes. William Shakespeare. If we are to do better, that's what I want to read, but it's if we are to better the future, we must disturb the present. Catherine Booth. Booth. I like that one. Adverbals and adverbs. Adding to the action. Adverbals are used to modify verbs. Adjectives are other adverbs. They can take the form of a single word, an adverb, or a group of words. An adverbial phrase or adverbial clause in English. Many adjectives can be converted into adverbs by adding ly, comma, e.g., he slowly stood, and in parentheses it says, although some adjectives already end in ly, comma, e.g., friendly, and then close parentheses. Adverbs, like adjectives, can be modified by other adverbs such as quiet, very, mildly, extremely. In order to add further clarification, adverbs provide information about time. Adverbs always, now, eventually, immediately, yesterday, soon, forever. Adverbials, in the morning, all of a sudden, just then, after a while. Place, adverbs, there, here, anywhere, nowhere, hither. Come hither, that's my favorite adverb right there. Yon, Y-O-N. Thence, upstairs. Maybe is yonder an adverb? Over yonder. Adverbials, over there, in the distance, far away, in the box, around the room. Manner, adverbs, happily, carefully, badly, silently, carefully twice. Why? Is it a typo? Anyway, we continue. Carefully, disdainfully. Adverbials, without a sound, as fast as he could, like a butterfly. Frequency, adverbs, always, seldom, never, often, rarely, regularly. Adverbials, once or twice, never in my life, ever, every second. Degree, adverbs, very, extremely, slightly, more, less, perhaps, maybe. Adverbials, nearly asleep, utterly joyous, totally overwhelmed. I'm sensing a pattern that adverbials are always more than one word and adverbs are always one word. Purpose, adverbs, consequently, therefore, hence, because, since. Adverbials, as a result, due to rain, for her country, because he was ugly. Okay, so they're like a verb adverb. Adverbial. It's like an adjective verb. I don't know. I'm talking wingdings. A true friend unbosoms freely. Unbosoms. Unbosoms. Unbosoms freely. Advises justly. Assists readily. Adventures boldly. Takes all patiently. Defends courageously. And continues a friend unchangeably. William Penn. And continues a friend unchangeably. It's never the wrong time to call on Toad. Early or late, he's always the same fellow. Keith Grahamey. And I'm wearing my Frog and Toad shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there it is. Frog and Toad. Beautiful. Poets have been mysteriously silent on the subject of cheese. G.K. Chesterton. Interesting. Conjunctive. Adverbs link two clauses. Moreover, however, accordingly, otherwise, undoubtedly. Lies are essential to humanity. They are perhaps as important as the pursuit of pleasure, and moreover, are dictated by the pursuit. Marcel Proust. Interrogative adverbs ask why, where, how, when. How shall a man escape from that which is written? How shall he flee from his destiny? Redousi. Talk about existential quotes. Why should we be in such desperate haste to succeed, and in such desperate enterprises? If a man does not keep peace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Henry David Thoreau. That's a thinker one right there. Adverbs can be used to emphasize, amplify, or tone down adjectives or other adverbs. History books that contain no lies are extremely dull. Anatole France. I like my body when it is with your body. It is so quiet. It is so quite new a thing. Quite? Quiet? I'm not sure. I'm dumb. Muscles better and nerves more. E. Cummings. It seems like a fitting quote for him. 7 more minutes. Adverbs are usually optional, and can be removed without affecting grammatical structure or meaning. And what he, in parentheses, greatly, in parentheses, thought he, in parentheses, nobly, in parentheses, dared. Homer, Homer. And what he greatly thought he nobly dared. Most adverbs can be placed at the beginning, middle, and end of sentences. Sometimes small things lead to great joys. Shummer Agnon. It is in our idleness, in our dreams, that we submerge truth sometimes comes to the top. That we submerge truth sometimes comes to the top. That the submerged truth sometimes comes to the top. Virginia Woolf. Woolf. 'Tis healthy to be sick sometimes. Henry David Thoreau. Interesting quote. Page 98. Little words. A limited list. Since English, like Chinese, uses so little inflection to express relations between its terms, it instead relies heavily on form words or copula to express these relations. There's that word again, copula. Spoken English uses a huge number of these little words, conjunctions, I should say, in parentheses, and or. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? I just need to binge watch Schoolhouse Rock again, honestly. Preposition, in, and interjections, yes, wow. Compared to someone speaking a heavily inflected language like Sanskrit or Polish, while nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are open classes with new words entering the vocabulary on a daily basis. Conjunctions and prepositions are closed classes, so can be listed in their entirety, which begs a question. Let me just reread that sentence. I was just talking wingdings there. While nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are open classes, with new words entering the vocabulary on a daily basis, conjunctions and prepositions are closed classes, so can be listed in their entirety, which begs a question. Are these all the possible relations between substances and actions, or are there further relations which we only have difficulty imagining due to the lack of words? Conjunctions and prepositions have been compared to seeds. It is possible that the original primitive language of our ancestors comprised of a small collection of simple words, the smallest building blocks of meaning, then like atoms combining to make molecules, these sounds, or morphemes, combined into words. Finally, as time passed, the pronunciations changed, we lost knowledge of exactly what these building blocks were. And there's a little image of convictio perpositio interecto. It's Latin, maybe? The first word is conivnctio. The second word is preposicio. The third word is interictio. Conjunctions, joining together. Conjunctions join words, phrases, or clauses together and show the relationship between them. Coordinating conjunctions join two items, words, phrases, or clauses of equal grammatical structure, equal grammatical status. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. The rose and the thorn, and sorrow and gladness are likened together. Sati, that was a quote. Correlative conjunctions always appear in pairs and are used to link equivalent sentences, elements, both, and, either, or, neither, nor, not only, but also, so, as, whether, or. It is not only what we do, but also what we do not do, for which we are accountable. Moliere. I'm going to have to read more of him because he sounds really wise. Moliere. Subordinating conjunctions link two items of unequal grammatical status and indicate the nature of the relationship among the independent clauses and the dependent clauses. After, as if, as long as much as soon as through, because, before, by the time, even if, even though, if, in order that, in case, lest, L-E-S-T, least, lest, one of those, once, lest, once, only if, provided that, since, so that, than, that, though, till, unless, until, when, whenever, where, wherever, while. Some cases, some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Ha! That's a good one. Oscar Wilde, I've heard of it before, but it just randomly made me laugh there. As long as a word remains unspoken, you are its master. Once you utter it, you are its slave. Solomon Ibn Gabirol. Gabirol. That's very interesting. That's a very interesting quote. Page 100. Prepositions. I was really hoping we'd get through the grammar part, but it's not looking like we are going to, especially since I only got 6% battery. We're going to end off with these last two pages, 100 and 101. Here we go. Prepositions. Little relationships. Prepositions are used to link two parts of a clause or sentence and show how relationships in space, time, cause, manner, or means. Prepositions of spatial location. At point, on surface, in volume. Prepositions of spatial direction. To, onto, into, through, out of, toward, away from, up, down, around. Prepositions of spatial relationship. By, off, along, across, against, among, beside, near, next to, between, among, ahead of, in, front of, in the middle of, inside, round, opposite, behind, from, but beyond, off, within, over, on top, of, above, below, beneath, under, underneath, to the left of, to the right of, following. Prepositions of time. On, at, in, after, before, since, for, by, from, until, during, within, throughout. Prepositions of cause, manner, and means. As of, about, but. Wasn't as of different as well? So these can be multiple. Interesting, we're continuing. As of, about, but, despite, except, then, with, without, minus, plus, like, unlike, via, because of, apart from, along with, as for, instead of, up to, in case of, according to. He said the pleasant manner of spending a hot July day was lying from morning till evening on a blanket of heath, H-E-A-T-H, on a bank of heath in the middle of the moors, M-O-O-R-S, with the bees humming dreamingly about among the bloom and the larks singing high up overhead, and the blue sky and the bright sun shining steadily in cloudlessly. Emily Bronte. Yeah, but my favorite quote I've read so far in this book is that the clouds aren't a thing to fear and I'm paraphrasing here, but a thing to complement the sunset. Gorgeous, beautiful quote I read earlier. I love it. My favorite quote now. I love it. Page 101. Subject and predicate. A little logic. We are now in position to begin putting together the various elements of our book. Every complete sentence consists of, I haven't processed 99% of all the information I just read, so I am in no position to digest logic, but nonetheless, we are going to try, and annotating hours on end after this live cast is over, because I'm just like not digesting crap right now. Nonetheless, let's get back to the read. Every complete sentence consists of a subject which performs the action of a verb and a predicate which modifies the subject. In English, the subject comes at or near the beginning of a clause and precedes the verb. A simple subject can be a noun or pronoun. Moonlight is sculpture. Nathaniel Hawthorne. He was happily married, but his wife wasn't. Victor Borge, B-O-R-G-E. A complete subject can be a noun, phrase, or a clause, and includes the noun or pronoun plus any modifiers. What's a modifier? Have patience. All things are difficult before they become easy. Sadie. I hope that's true. It is for exercise, so I'm going to bear with this reading. The man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. Mark Twain. Beautiful quote. The simple predicate consists of the main verb and any auxiliary verbs. The flower that smells the sweetest is shy and lowly. William Wordsworth. Interesting. Does this mean you have to stoop down low? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. A mule will labor, L-A-B-O-U-R, labour. That's what I want to say, but it's not that. A mule will labor 10 years willingly and patiently for you, for the privilege of kicking you once. William Faulkner. Faulkner. The complete predicate includes the verb, along with any direct or indirect objects, complements, and adverbials. Last quote of the day here. All the ills of mankind are the tragic misfortunes that fill the history books. All the political blunders, all the failures of the great leaders have arisen merely from the lack of skill at dancing. From a lack of skill at dancing. Molière. Another beautiful quote. And that, my friends, will end us at page 102. Up next is the 5 phrases. I've lost the cap to my highlighter. I'm freaking out. But nonetheless, we're ending it here. I'm not going to make you guys watch me look for my highlighter cap. That was part 4 of the Trivium. Hopefully I can finish this book. We are 100 pages in, about a fourth or a third of the way there. I think it's 400 or 500 pages, might be 400, so we're a fourth of the way there. Hopefully I can finish this book before Instagram takes away my privilege of live streaming. Nonetheless, guys, I'm wishing you nothing but health, wealth, peace, prosperity, friends, family, all the good things in life I didn't mention and more. I want you to wake up every day with nothing but blessings. Keep seeking the truth. It's what sets you free, and the Trivium is one of the methods to set you free. First, you got to get the building blocks, which is the grammar. Then you can see how those building blocks come together, which is the logic. And then we can choose the best words to say to speak our mind and communicate effectively, which is the rhetoric. Nonetheless, for anyone who's watching or not watching, peace be with you. Take care. Stay beautiful. You're gorgeous. We out of here. Peace. What picks me up is your loving soul. And every time that I come home, I get to see you in your fancy clothes. But if this time ever has to come to an end, don't you cry,
Just smile because it happened.